Hi, welcome back to Not So Obvious Watches. I'm Pete McConville. Every video I do starts with an idea, and that idea is normally a question or an observation. And then what I do is I get that idea and then I pull on the thread to see where it leads me. Over the last couple of weeks, I've come up with a lot of ideas and I've pulled a lot of threads, and a chunk of them just aren't resolving themselves. I'm just not getting to the end. And then I started to get frustrated and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to throw all of my half-done, half-baked, half-assed ideas out there. And I'm just going to see which of them have some resonance with you, which of them you might have thought about yourselves, and which of them you think are ridiculous and have nowhere to go. So after the intro, catch me and I'm going to go through the 12 or 13 half-baked ideas for videos I've got. See you on the other side. Okay, so half-baked idea number one. In talking about Hodinkee and a lot of the other watch media recently, one of the things that comes up is this idea of conflict of interest and why they're never critical. And then their defense is the reason why we're so hyper positive all the time is because we only pick watches that we like. Therefore, there's no need to be critical. The idea I've got in my head is that given that our professional media, the critic class of our hobby, has resigned itself to being universally positive, is that dumbing us down? Is that removing, inhibiting, somehow really retarding our critical senses, our ability to truly understand watches? Is all of this positivity making us dumb consumers? Idea number two is closely related to that, which is that lack of understanding, that lack of ability to critically analyze watches, to critically talk about design, is that one of the reasons why we keep falling back into the same old things about the lume's not good enough, or, there's not enough micro adjusts on the bracelet, and we ignore stuff like the fundamental shape of the case is wrong, or the lazy layout of text on dials, or the poor choice of typeface? Is that stuff just too complicated for us? And is that why we're stuck with things like micro adjusts and loom? Oh, next one is a really weird one. My question: do we really like Rolex because they make good bracelets? Or are bracelets the big thing they are because Rolex makes them well? I don't know. Another little observation I haven't really been able to take anywhere. Have you ever noticed that the people who talk most about the desire for watches to be timeless and to last forever are the flippers who get rid of them every couple of months? And the people that hold on to watches forever seem to have no problem with the idea that their watches show a certain time in space? Number whatever it is, have you noticed that many of the same YouTubers at the moment that constantly tell us buy what you like what you buy, don't listen to other people, are the same YouTubers doing videos on the 5 affordable brands that are still respected by the others in the community? It's kind of like, if we listen to one, why do we need the second? An idea that came to me the other day, watching a couple of YouTubers complaining about social media ruining the watch hobby. And I was looking at them and other people like them, and other people have complained about the direction that the watch hobby has made. And I've come to a different conclusion. Think about this. Are millennials ruining the watch hobby? Listen to me for a sec. They come into the hobby usually not ever having experienced watches before, so with very little knowledge of watches. So they were routinely kind of surprised and learning their way. Two, what they did do was that they were raised on social media, immersed in all of the like and follow culture that brings. And three, they hit the watch world in that state, usually with enough money to launch straight into all of the pieces that are going to get them likes and follows. So many of the influential watch millennial YouTubers, Instagrammers, bloggers, etc. always talk about the first watch I got was a Cartier, then I went straight to a Rolex, and now I'm after a Royal Oak. Another idea that's sort of kicking around that I haven't got to is, where is the line between reviewing a watch and reviewing the wearer? Have you noticed how quick we are to say that this is a watch for a kind of person, or this is a watch that a kind of person buys? Is that 1,000 miles away from just being just a little bit snobby and not so much talking about the watch, but talking about the kind of person that wears a watch? And where is that line? Another interesting topic, which I haven't quite got to, is how in the community ideas change, and we're often at different points of that change. So I'll take two-tone, for example. For me, two-tone is still white Velcro shoes, navel high pants, and bad comb overs. And yet for other people, they're the hipster watch of choice nowadays. Likewise, other people would see that bracelets are a sporty, kind of casual way of wearing a watch. Whereas I think for a lot of other people, they've seen sort of the watches like Datejusts that come on bracelets have now become kind of the dress watch of today, which means a bracelet has become the formal way of wearing a watch, and that something like a NATO or a rubber band is in fact the sporty, casual way of wearing a watch. It's just funny how the community doesn't always have an agreement on what a watch means or what the accessories around it mean anymore. This is one that's bobbed up a little bit recently, and I've been actively fighting against it. What the hell is so true about a true GMT? There are two ways of setting a watch that has an independent GMT function. And once it's set, the watch always tells you a local time and a GMT time in two different localities. What makes the way of setting one a true GMT and one a false GMT? I don't get it. This was one that's come out of a couple of questions that you guys have, or really comments that you guys have left on my various videos, saying how you come to YouTube and social media for facts. And why? Why do you bother? There are press releases that give you all the facts. Why do you come here if all you want is us to read you stuff that you would get on a press release? What are you hoping for? I don't know. One of the things that often comes up out of those comments is people make no distinction between an opinion, a belief, a prejudice, and just purely personal taste. Now, those are four very different things. They are not all the same. But because people don't draw the distinctions, they just lump them all together, and then any kind of analysis or self-reflection and moving forward kind of just dies in the arse. I have been thinking that doing a video on separating those four things out and explaining how they're different would be valuable, but I've never quite got to finishing it. This last one actually got mentioned on a video this morning, so I might actually kill it. But I'm halfway through a video talking about how it's interesting that we've been very comfortable breaking barriers and moving forward and wearing our sports watches with business and more formal attire. Why hasn't it flowed back the other way? Why aren't there people just throwing conventions to the wind and choosing to wear dress watches in less formal, more casual environments? And don't give me this whole robustness thing. It's not, most of us just wear them to the office anyway. So yeah, why has it only flowed one way? Again, a video that hasn't quite got to the end yet. And this next one is, I've even mentioned it before and still not taken it to the end. And this is the idea that suddenly in this most consumerist, capitalist of hobbies, we all become Marxists as soon as someone gives us a price. We all start saying, where's the value? Where's the work? Where's the labor input? As though that's got any influence in this hobby. And the same people will be the same ones who are the ultra capitalists in every other part of their life. It's really bizarre. And what is it about when it's your money and you're spending, people suddenly become Marxists? So that's really about it. That's just a list of topics that I've got kicking around that are like halfway to videos. Sometimes they're not much more than an idea. Some of them were quite close, but I just can't figure out how to make it punchy in the end. Some of these might actually make it through. Many of them probably won't. If there's anything in there that you're kind of interested in, leave it in a comment below. If there's anything there that you reckon I should not touch with a barge pole, feel free to tell me. I've been Pete McConville. This has been Not So Obvious Watches, and I'll see you later. Bye.